All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, giving double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect. Shalom to all the brothers out here laboring in this truth with sincerity. Shalom to the few sisters that watch. Let's come back with another lesson. And this lesson was, sparked by the comment that this naval officer made. Concerning his beard, as you can see, he got the clippers in his hand, shaving his beard. I haven't looked it up, but we can do that now. I think it's a new policy that requires all military personnel to shave their beards. Let's see. New beard policy. Okay, it says the U.S. military requires all personnel to be clean shaven. Medical shaving waivers are now limited to a maximum of 12 months under a treatment plan, and those who cannot shave after a year face mandatory administrative separation. Virtually all religious exemptions have been phased out. And, I myself, I had one of these, when I was in the Navy. But it wasn't for, 12 months, it was just until it cleared up. But, even then I was going off, man. I didn't even know they had religious accommodations, and most of those people in there are just, faking it, just to have a beard as far as fashion, but now that's gone, so we'll watch this video and hear what he has to say, and then, we'll get some scriptures, man. But let's see.
Top of the morning. Just want to say something right now. Y'all telling me that.
And you can hear Jake, how close those clippers are, man. Just grinding in his face. Just grinding that, cutting that hair away, as well as damaging the skin, man. But let's go.
Y'all gonna let this little black stuff that grows on our face that's already dead, I want to let that dim y'all light. Y'all gonna let that trick you out your spot.
And that's exactly, what I wanted to get. He said, you're not going to let this little black stuff on your face that's already dead trick you out your spot. See, Jake is bought in. He's bought into the U.S. military and its policies and its benefits. He's not considering Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai and what he has to say. These, laws were given unto Moses about how to properly take care of your face, man. And you were instructed to have a beard upon your face. So let's finish what he got to say, and then we're going to get the scripture.
You want shave? You got shave. What else? You're telling me you want to let everything go down a drain that those people before me fought so hard for. Golden 13. Huh? First black naval officers. Ain't no way some hair, a beard, or whatever about trick me out of what I don't work so hard for and what they went through to make it possible for people like me.
But what about what the Israelites went through? You know, what about what the Most High said do? You know, it is instructed for you to have a beard upon your face, man. But he's putting the military before what the Lord says. And that's how hypocritical the military is, you know. They always say, God bless America, God bless our troops. But what God are you talking about? Because you're not talking about the God of the Bible. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Because that God said you must have a beard upon your face. Now we're going to finish what this Jake said, and then we're going to get into the script.
Let's think about it. Y'all have so much pride with some substance that's dead. It's dead. Harry's dead. Ain't that deep? You want shave? Clean shaving. What's next?
Yeah, ultimately he gonna be destroyed. This guy is gonna be destroyed. Jay Walton Jr. is gonna be destroyed. All because of some hair on his face. Yeah, he looking for the benefits from the military, but the Lord is gonna destroy him. You know, he gonna be mingled up in that sea of glass. You know, the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, verse 1. Start from verse 1 and read on down to like 13. He gonna be one of those people that the Lord come back and utterly waste. But let's go to the book of Exodus, you know, because these are the Levitical laws, you know, which Leviticus goes into concerning the Levites. You know, that's what it's about. And Moses himself was a Levite. So let's get that. The birth of Moses. It says, and there went out a man of the house of Levi and took a wife, a daughter of Levi. Took to wife a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him, that he was a godly child, she hid him for 3 months. And when she could not longer hide him, she took him for Salakia. She took for him an ark of burnishes. Where is it? It's supposed, let me see. It's supposed to name Moses, but it's saying the birth of Moses. This is speaking of Moses. You know, I want to see if she called his name Moses. Let's see. Salakia. I mean, we could keep on reading, but, you know, this is speaking of Moses. You know, his father was a Levite as well as his mother, but, you know, it all, you know, goes back to his father. Let's see. Salakia. Let's see. There it is. I'm supposed to read on down. Salakia. You know. So it says, and the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses. And she said, because I drew him out of the water. So, you know, Moses is a Levite. That's the point of the matter, you know, that we're trying to make here. And so like you for that. You know, but we doing these lessons. You know, we go in the spirit, man. You know, nothing is scripted. You know, we might make notes and stuff, but you know, we on the fly, man. We're not perfect, you know. But this is let's see what the heading of this say. It says sundry laws But this is concerning, the people and how they must conduct themselves. Let's see. Yeah. This is how the people must conduct themselves, man. These are laws that were given, to show you how to properly worship the Lord, man. So why would it change today? If you want to properly worship the Lord, you must abide by what he instructed you to do, to the best of your ability. And being able to shave or not being able to shave is in your control, man. So what he should do is just not shave and, suffer the consequences, man. But this guy doesn't, he doesn't believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. He believes in the U.S. military, Donald Trump, the Navy. So it says if you don't abide by what they say, it says, and those who cannot shave after a year face mandatory administrative separation. So they're going to put you out. And you're probably going to lose your benefits. Let's see, separation. Troops who require shaving waiver for more than a year will be involuntarily separated from the military. So they're going to put you out over a beard, man. This, hey, that's Esau for you, man. This man is not on the side of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. Everything he does is adverse to what the Lord does. So this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 27. It says, ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. So you're not supposed to be all lined up, trimmed up, and shaped up, man. As you can see, Jake was all marred up, man. All marred up. Look at his head. Jake is all marred up, the front of his head.
Y'all on that.
I feel so close to you right now.
Oh, man, come on now. Let me get up off that. It's a lucky. But, yeah, she was beautiful, though. Man. But, so let's go, Leviticus chapter 21. In this particular chapter, is concerning the priests, regulations concerning priests. So drop down to verse 5. It says, thou shalt not make baldness upon their head, neither shalt thou shave off the corner of their beard, nor make cuttings in their flesh, tattoos and things of that nature. But, the common factor is beard. You're instructed to have a beard, man. You're not to shape it up. You're not to shave it off. He didn't even say, shave it off. Neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, shaping it up, So shaving it wasn't even a factor, man. Like shaving it all the way off wasn't a factor, But the bottom line, man, these Jakes are part of the world, man. They are part of the world and not separated. So let's go to the book of Colossians chapter 2, and we'll go to verse 8. It says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach, not after what Yahweh Shem Yahushua said. This is after the rudiments of the world, the tradition of men. So let's go and get that word rudiments. It basically means, we'll just get the definition.
Strong's G 4747 Stoichion.
So let's see. Let's see. It says, any first thing from which others belonging to some series or composite whole take their rise and element first principle, No. Elements, no. Heavenly bodies, no. Elements, rudiments, primary, fundamental principles of any art, science, or discipline. Yeah. You know, the rudiments of the world, the fundamental principles of the world. You know, yeah, that's basically what it means, man. You know, following after the world. You know, the rules of the world. Let's see. Rudiment, basic principle, fundamental skill, or undeveloped beginning, most commonly referring to, let's see. Well, basically, you know, the basic principles of the world. You know, that's pretty much what it's going into, man. Basic principles of the world. You know, and that's what that Jake it has assimilated to the basic principles of this world. He's following after the rudiments of this world and not after Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. In which the principles are laid out in the Bible that you should go by. So we're going to keep it going. We'll go to the book of Romans, chapter 12. Let's see. We'll start at the top. This is the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 1. It says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service, you know. But this Jake is presenting his body as a living sacrifice to Uncle Sam, you know, Esau Edom. That's his reasonable service, man. That's the difference. You know, we're in a different type of, we're different types of soldiers than these guys. These guys are going to be destroyed, you know, as to where we're looking for salvation. So verse 2 is the point. It says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove that what is good, acceptable, and perfect will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, not of Uncle Sam, not of the Navy, you know. So, you know, what he's supposed to do is just grow his beard out and let him put him out, man. You know, hey, fake it, man. Do something, you know. But you are to follow Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. You know. So let's see. Joshua, book of Joshua. It says, now after the death of Moses, a servant of the Lord Yahweh, it came to pass that the Lord Yahweh spake unto Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, Moses my servant is dead. Now therefore arise and go to Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give them, even to the children of Israel. So you see it speaking to the children of Israel. So let's drop down to verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. Yeah, the book of Leviticus chapter 19, book of Leviticus chapter 21. Yes. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, not depending on the Navy, shaving your beard, looking for prosperity in the Navy, but doing the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, being prosperous that way. It says, and then thou shalt have good success. This Jake think he gonna have good success. Man, yeah, it's gonna be temporary until the Lord come back and flame this place up. You know, that's the beauty of having this truth, man. You know, that's the beauty of having this truth and understanding. You know, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, to be exact. So, hey man, we don't brothers, don't look at these people and look at them like they winning, man. You know, these people of the world are lost. You know, maybe they're successful in this world, but that's coming to an end, man. That's coming to an end. So we'll go to the book of Psalms, chapter 1, and we're going to start from the top. It says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. In the military, man, that's the counsel of the ungodly. You know, you commit murder, all kind of adultery, you know, and now you got moles. It's crazy. Nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord Yahweh. And in his law doth he meditate day and night, like we just read, you know, meditate day and night, you know. The book of the law shall not depart. So verse 3, it says, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers, you know, a tree planted by the rivers, you know, by the rivers of water, you know, and his truth is likened to water. You know, out of thy belly shall flow rivers of living water. You know, this is life. So you're a tree planted by the rivers. You're gonna be you gonna flourish, man. Verse 3 again, it says, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither. Why? Because you got this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Man, it's beautiful. And whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Why? Because we got this truth, man. So it's a blessing, man. These people of the world, they think they winning now. But ultimately, man, we going to win in the end, Lord willing. So this was a quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Lord willing, it was edifying. Shalom.